Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed Sharif-Idiris, and today we're going to continue my second talk, which is going to be about scanner network and a couple other things. Just a quick overview of what I'd like to discuss today. For example, why would you want to scan your network? That's a question that some people might have. I'd like to also discuss, about virtualization and what are the different applications that you can use for that. I'd like to also talk about one of the operating systems that is very useful for network scanning, and one of those is Kali Linux. And I'd also like to discuss what is Nmap. That is one of the network scanning utilities that I'd like to use for this tutorial. And I'll kind of give some examples and some command line examples on how to use Nmap. So let's get right into it. Before we can use Kali Linux, I recommend getting VirtualBox. It's one of the virtualization machines. And how would you do that? You can go to your favorite browser there, and just go to virtualbox.org. And as soon as you're there, just go to right here to downloads. So just quickly, what is VirtualBox? VirtualBox is, it's kind of a hosted supervisor where your host system can, let's say for example you have a Windows system like I have right here. You can have several other operating systems, and you can use that virtually, and it will run directly on your hardware, and it can run alongside your other operating systems. I find it more useful than dual booting, where you have several operating systems. It's especially real nice if you're a beginner and you're afraid to make a lot of mistakes, and you won't corrupt your machine. So once you go to downloads, you have several options here. You got a Windows host machines, you got a Mac, you got Linux. So you would get the specific download for your specific operating system. So in my case, I have Windows, so I just click Windows here, and it pops up right down here. But I already have it set up, so I'm not gonna finish the download. But once you finish the download, it's pretty easy, straightforward. You continue and you get it. It'll probably download somewhere on your desktop or wherever you want it to. But in my case, I have it right here, pinned to my taskbar for ease. So once you click it, you open it up, you can create a new machine here. You can go and add the specific machine that you'd like to add. Let's say, for example, I want to add Kali Linux. I'll just go right here, put Kali Linux, and as you can see, it helps you out, fills it right in there for you. You can go next and allocate a certain amount of memory that you'd like, etc. Since I already have it downloaded, and that's not the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to cancel here and kind of give you a quick overview. There are several operating systems, as you can see on my VirtualBox, and that's one of the things I like about it. You can add Kali Linux, you can add FreeBSD, you can add Metasploitable, even Windows. As you can see here, Windows XP Service Pack 3 that I have here, that I use for scanning things and seeing the different vulnerabilities that are in XP, and my Linux Mint, one of my favorite operating systems. But for our purpose today, we're gonna look at Kali Linux. But before we get into that, what is Kali Linux? Kali Linux is a Debian-based Linux distribution which is aimed at advanced penetration testing and security auditing. Kali contains several hundred tools, which are geared towards various information security tasks such as penetration testing, which is what we're going to talk about today, security research, computer forensics, and reverse engineering. So this is kind of a very useful operating system, and it has many of the things that you would like. So once we go here and we click on run it, it's gonna pop up. I have it already up here, as you can see, Kali Linux on VirtualBox. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. It's pretty nice here. It looks a lot different than Windows, but it's really useful and amazing. So if we go to applications here, just to give you an overview, you can see so many different pre-installed tools that are already there for you. If you go to information gathering, which is what we're gonna be doing today, kind of getting information, network scans, etc. You have many different tools there already available for you, and we're going to be looking at Nmap today. And if you want a more, I'm going to be using the command line examples today, but if you'd like a more GUI friendly version of network scan with Nmap, you can use Nmap here. And as you can see, there's vulnerability analysis, web application analysis, wireless attacks. Error cracking is a very useful tool that you could use to test, attack your various routers that you have, etc. Reverse engineering tools, exploitation tools, MSF console here, which is very useful. Armitage is a MSF for finding different vulnerabilities that you could use. So many different tools already pre-installed for you, which is amazing in my opinion, especially for beginners to use. So before we get into network scan, it's very important to do this for educational purposes and to also have permission from your different before you want to scan a network that is not yours. And if you're trying to do nefarious activities, you might want to be careful because it's not pleasant. So let's get right into it. We're going to use Nmap today. So let me give a quick definition of what Nmap here is. Nmap, also known as Network Mapper, is a free and open source utility for network discovery and security auditing. Many professionals use this and they find it useful for tasks such as network inventory, managing service upgrade schedules, monitoring host or service uptime. Nmap uses raw IP packets to determine what hosts are available on the network, what services these hosts are offering, what operating systems and OS versions they are running, operating system that they are running, etc. What type of filters they use, and many other amazing techniques. So let's get right into it. I'm going to give you a quick command line interface, and this is kind of expecting you to have some knowledge of Linux. If you don't, this is a command line interface here, and the way to get that is you go to terminal and you can get a new terminal, and just like that you're able to start firing out commands as you'd like. So we're going to be looking at Nmap today. So all we're going to do is say Nmap, right? And we're going to include the IP address that we'd like to look at. So let's say I want to look at 192.168.0.1, and I'll click enter, and it'll begin the process of finding out what's open, what's not open. As you can see here, look, we have on this left side, it'll show you the port numbers, and it'll say the state, if it's open, if it's closed, and the different services normally associated with that port or state. So that's kind of a quick overview of what Nmap you can use it for. A good utility to check if you're not sure you have access to a network that you can scan legally, and you want to practice, what you could do is say Nmap scan me dot nmap. Making a mistake there. Nmap.org. Nmap.org, and it's going to try to scan the different networks that it's going to try to scan nmap.org, and it's kind of one of those utilities that are allowed for you to scan. They do it so that people can learn and practice on it, and it's going to keep loading here, but I have it right here just to show you that after it's completed, you can see I did a nmap scan me.nmap.org, and it begins the hopping and different things that it does, and you can see the ports that are open here, the states that are what states open, the services normally associated with it, etc. So this is real nice for you to check your network. So why would you want to scan your network is a great question. For example, you're paying monthly a large internet bill to that internet service provider. You can call it whatever you want, that company, and they're charging you a lot of money, and you're having a problem because it's kind of slow. It's possible that there are people on your network who should not be there. So this is a nice way to find out who is on your network and find out what operating system they have, what version they're using, etc. if you want to get more in depth with it. Or they could be doing nefarious activities on your network and could cause problems for you. So it's very nice to scan your networks and to find out who's on it, and hopefully later on, using Kali, find the right tools to kick them out of your network. So these are some examples that you could use. If you want to scan a single port, you would do this, nmap -b, the IP address. If you want to scan a range of it, you can do it like this. You put 1 to 100. This detects the OS and services -A, capital A. That will tell you the operating system and different services that it uses. And that's pretty much it for me today, and I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to my recording.